One thing about being beautiful is that everybody assumes that you are promiscuous, and a potential husband snatcher, just as Mrs. Edith called me one day. It all started that evening when my master came back from work and I ran to open the door for him and also collected the nylon bag he held. My master's wife, Mrs. Edith, sat on the couch and said nothing, even when her husband kissed her. She merely pushed her lips to his as she stretched her neck to change to the next channel. Later, she came into the kitchen and warned me to stay away from her husband. Before banging the kitchen door, she turned with a face wrinkled in anger and called me a prostitute. But that was many years ago and I was then just 12 years old. 2 years later, when I was 14, I had to live with Mama Boma as a maid. Because my mother could not afford to send me to school. It was in my third year in junior secondary school that I discovered that people can hold strange ideas about other people. Even when they have not had an intelligent discussion with the person, and when they do, in the face of evidence that proves otherwise, they continue to remain stubborn and refuse to review their single stories filled with stereotypes. For instance, one of the generalizations they have is the belief that every beautiful woman is arrogant. One day after prep, I went to the school cafeteria to buy snacks. 2 girls were sitting at the lobby and I mistakenly stepped on one while I was trying to avoid colliding with the boy who was coming from the opposite direction. The girl who sat at my right said, "Oh, you blind loony girl." And she can't even apologize. The girl who was sitting at my left and the one I stepped on said angrily. She can't even apologize because she thinks she looks more good than both of us, the senior boy who I nearly had a collision with said. One thing with all these beautiful girls is that their beauty usually gets into their heads and they become arrogant. "I am sorry," I said. "Sorry for yourself," the girl I stepped on said. The boy shook his head and left. "Maybe a small discipline will teach you to cease feeling too big," the girl I stepped on said before pulling the other girl up, and together they left. I managed to scale through my junior secondary school days by grace, and so when I got into the university, I stopped living with Mama Boma, who, according to her, had done more than enough for a child that was not hers. So I had to start catering for my welfare until I met Sammy, a young man who was of the opinion that beautiful women should not work to earn a living. According to Sammy, a beautiful woman is not fit to work. She is in fact fit to sit and wait for her manna to fall from heaven. The experience I had with Sammy when we were together actually marveled me, because I never realized up until then that there is food for a lazy man. In this case, the woman. But then that was what led to our argument often. In my second year in the university, I joined a book club, where we were encouraged to read books and gather together to discuss them in our groups. The first day I attended, I met with a group of friends and course mates, and in the midst of our chit-chat, I made mention of the books I have in my library, the books I have read, the books I intend reading, and the books I just bought. And everyone forgot to close their mouth as a result of shock. Later they told me that they don't believe I can enjoy reading because I don't look like one who does. And one young man in our group, Timothy, said to me, "I was really close to advising you about quitting this group and joining pageantry." "Pageantry?" I asked, surprised. "Yes," he said, "it has never crossed my mind to join pageantry," I said as I fought very hard to swallow back my laughters. "Well, you can start now. You can contest for this upcoming Most Beautiful Girl in campus, coming up in a fortnight. I have my studies to do." He examines me and said, "You don't look studious at all." "Well, I am very studious. But you don't look like a bookworm at all." Then I began to wonder how serious students looks like. And by the way, why is he trying to infer that studiousness cannot be associated with a woman? Talk more of a beautiful one? I can remember Auntie Moon always taking me along to visit her friends and to her workplace on weekends because her friends and colleagues liked me and would want to carry me. As a child and young teenager, I barely had time to myself because everybody wanted me to be around them. And even now as an adult, people still do that, but I have come to draw my own boundary lines. As a teenager, I came to realize how beautiful women become stumbling block for some people, and how some of them are ridiculed, so as to justify the single story and stereotype of beautiful woman being arrogant, promiscuous and anti-studies. Today, looking at how my life has been shaped because of my physical appearance, I have come to realize that beauty can actually be a problem just as it is a blessing. I have on many occasions lost contracts because I am beautiful, neglected, harassed, and even abused because I am beautiful. And on occasions equivalent to the number of times I had experienced the bad side of beauty, I have been loved, gifted, appreciated, and have shared this beauty with my children.
If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get good contents like this. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.